Pleasant good morning to one and all. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Good evening, good night, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 22nd of March, 2023. I see that we are ready and we're raring to go. My colleague and co-sponsor, co-accused, co-host, already in the studio. We are waiting, ready. I also noted quite a number of persons already on YouTube and on Facebook. A matter of fact, before we went live a few moments ago, we had over 40 persons waiting on YouTube. You know, the YouTubers are there very, very early, ready and waiting and waiting. And we are ready to give you the information. We have lots and lots to tell you this morning, as we always do. You're going to find it very, very interesting. You know, I continue to say that I'm very encouraged by the comments, by the people see me all over. My colleague, Mr. Conway, says the same thing. You walk around, people greeting you and telling you how much they learn from the program, and all just to continue. And we will continue. We will continue because the information is getting there. You know, last week program, I checked. We had what? We had right now. We have over 11,000 persons on the two platforms who would have viewed the program in 1 week. 11,000. So, and of course, you have a few of the amphibians coming and they making comment. One man said, I shouldn't talk about corruption because I was the most corrupt person there is, and so I must soon never made any allegation against me. So how can I be the most corrupt person? Corruption, when it comes to myself and Mr. Conway, I can speak on behalf of myself. I can speak on behalf of Mr. Conway. We have never, ever been accused of being corrupt. Many of the persons now can't say that. And we have a long track record, long. So they come in and trying to show things up, you know, they're going to try to muddy the waters. But we are not going to be deterred. We are not going to be dissuaded. Thank you, Rick. Very educational. Yeah, and we're going to continue to share. We have so much to tell you this morning that I'm sure that you will find it, as is customary, to be very, very educational. But we're not going to be dissuaded. We're not going to be discouraged. We're going to come here. We're going to tell you the truth. And if the truth makes people uncomfortable, that is on them. That is not on me or my colleague, Mr. Conway. If they are comfortable with the truth, we will continue to tell the truth, because they said the truth shall set you free. We will continue to give the information. You know, a lot of things go on, and people don't know their rights. People don't know what they should do. And they send messages to me to ask me about issues and so on. And we do the research, and we address the issues. And you know, the thing about it is that when they make the comments, look to see what they're saying. They can't attack the facts, you know. Facts, according to Uncle Henry Fraser, former commissioner of police, facts are stubborn things. No matter what you do, they're going to remain there staring at you. Facts are stubborn things. And when we talk about facts, we're not Republicans. We don't talk about alternate facts. We talking about the true facts, the facts that are there to steer you. And you know, I challenge them. Anything that we say on this program, let them bring evidence to show that we're not saying the correct thing. Let them bring the evidence. Don't come and send your trolls and to make some remarks to try to discourage. That is not going to happen, my friends, and even my foes. That is not going to happen. So, you know what we normally say: share the live. Let people know that we're here. The class are almost full already. So tell them if they come in a little while from now, they have to stand up. Standing room only, as I indicated this morning when I signed on this morning. They were, by the time we were ready to start, we had 40-something persons on the program. But before I go into the roll call, you know, I would normally tell you, this is the day the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. We are in the land of the living. Many persons are not so fortunate, so we must celebrate every day. Every day, you know the song, as I wake up this morning, right? I'm a winner. Once you wake up, you are a winner. You might have challenges, but I'm sure you can overcome those challenges. So somebody said backbench get one seat. That is, if the backbench get one seat left, you better make sure You don't tell those trenches and the amphibians, because they want a fee. They're going to tell people, in order for you to get that one seat, you got to give me something. You have to left something. You got to left or right. So you got to make sure that the seat is there for some authentic person. So yes, we are here. We're ready to go. But let me do the roll call. Let me do the roll call. Because, last week I got views, with this roll call. I skimmed over some person, accidentally, of course, and the person rebuked me on social media to say that I'm skipping over their name. I don't want to do that today. So the first person we had in class today, as you would see, out of London, was Wayne Liddell. And then we had Floyd. He came in. Wayne Liddell came in at 7:22, Floyd at 7:33. And a regular, Vibort came in here at 7:38. I know Vibort is CC Squatty. Then we had Lyndon, and Lyndon gave his police number, old police, 13033 from course 140. And he's from Patterson, New Jersey, he says. Then we had here Stefan. He came in at 7:49. Cecile came in at 7:52. And he says ready for classes. And then we had Princess is now Lamar Springs, I think it is. Princess from not a regular. Patricia, regular, came in at 8:04. And Selwyn came in early. I think he just came in to peep and he went out back, because I think he has a court right, the election petition court now in the appeal court. So he peeped in, and I laughed because I say he said, as you can see, he all early, but he was early too at 8:04. He just peeped in and he went back out. Then we had Machu came in at 8:07. Jamil at 8:10. Ex-Sergeant Sean Rabindranath, always reporting for duty. Permission to fall in parade. Permission granted, Sergeant. Permission is granted. Then we had court at 8:19. Sagi, welcome, Sagi. Very knowledgeable old police, Sagi. Quarantine in the house. Quarantine. Then we had Rabi. Rabi lectured to me at University of Guyana many years ago. Welcome, Rabi. Welcome. We had Maureen here at 8:25. So the program is educational. Trati came in at 8:41, another regular. People don't miss this program at all. Then we had Raul Redman came in there at 8:43, and he says he's calling from Bushwick, Brooklyn. Then Jacko, all the way from Georgia, came in at 8:47. John from Linden came in at 8:47 as well. Patricia came in at 8:48. John Cummins came in at 8:49. Everett Leonard came in at 9:05. And my friend and former shooting colleague, Paul, came in from Canada at 9:11. And then my squad mate came in at 9:25. And then we have out of the UK, Lynette Fraser came in at 9:39. Isabella came in next at 9:42. Then my friend from Portmore, Jamaica, Dudley came in at 9:44. Winston came in then at 9:54. Philip came in at 10:04. Jakey, welcome, Jakey. Jakey came in at 10:05. Aileen at 10:09. Joan at 10:11. Sharad at 10:21. Winston from Ontario, California at 10:27. Barbara came in next at 10:30. Then we had Dan came in at 10:31. Duan came in at 10:35. And Francis came in at 10:45. Kurowashi came in next at 10:45. Francis came in for Melanie, came in here at 10:47. Ian came in at 10:51. Then we had Yonette. And the first person from Facebook is a squaddy of mine, Doreen from Canada. Doreen came in at 10:59. That's when we went live. And then we had what? We had Delaney. Then we had from checking the Facebookers now. Derica. We have Mavis. Then we have Jeanette. Then we have Damien came in next. And I can't miss Tessa. Tessa, always a YouTuber. Tessa came in, another regular, not a regular. Winston came in at 11. Secretary Denise came in at 11. Mavis came in at 11. Rawl Chalmers came in at 11. Good morning, Rawl. Good morning. Then we had on Facebook. We have Kim. Kim came in here at 11:01. Kim, you are 1 minute late, Kim. We can excuse you though. Then we have Toro. Toro came in at 11:01. And the Facebookers, Ulrich, can't miss out Ulrich, a regular. Ulrich came in here at 11:01 as well. So what we're gonna do, let me run the program and then we're gonna come back. Keith Maury came in at 11:02. We're gonna start the program because if we continue like this, we're not gonna be able to start. So we get Eric from Facebook. Eric came in at 11:03. Rhonda came in at 11:03. Stian came in at 11:03 as well. So, as we said, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let me rejoice and be glad in it. We are so glad to be in the land of the living. Some people have not been that fortunate. Last week, we reported on the sad situation where Sergeant Semple, the man from the TSU, was shot at Linden by his cousin, who was said was a licensed firearm holder. Well, unfortunately, Semple succumbed. He died 5 days after being hospitalized. And, I'm going to come back to that in a short while. Come back. It's a really sad situation. And I'll come back with my colleague, Mr. Conway, to discuss this incident. We also had the death, we're reporting the death of Detective Constable Ewart Ellis. His police number was 10473. We understand that he died recently, and I learned this morning that he's the eldest brother of John Rogers, who's a regular on this program. I called John's name earlier as being on the live, and I was informed by John that Detective Constable Ellis was his eldest brother. And we had, those are the police deaths we had every week. It's real sad. It is real sad, the passing of police ranks. And then we had this so unfortunate incident at Bosai in Linden, where the bulldozer operator, the whole thing came in with him, and they found him how many days after, of course, dead. There's a real sad. I saw in the papers yesterday, I think it was, that there is now a commission of inquiry headed by, I think it's Charlie Series, to investigate that unfortunate incident. But that brings about a lot of questions about occupational health and safety and all of that. So I'm sure there's going to be a comprehensive investigation into that matter. And then yesterday, another unfortunate, Linden really going through a rough time. For those people in Linden, I got to express condolences. Something going on at Linden, man. And then yesterday afternoon, a 19-year-old Joshua Goddard, he works at a vulcanizing shop. He was repairing a truck tire, and the truck tire exploded and killed him yesterday afternoon at Linden. So, and so many things at Linden. They had a fatal accident with a popular taxi driver over the past week at Linden as well. We're going to look at that a little later. And then I want to express condolences to the Regional Division 6 Commander, Chief Prasad Bakas. We understand that his father passed away recently. So condolences to his relatives, to Shiv and his relatives, and all of those people. And I have to advise you, last week we announced on the death of retired Woman Sergeant Donette Long. Information came to hand this morning that she will be buried on March the 27th. That is this month she's going to be buried. They say viewing at Sandy's Funeral Parlor, Podrine, between 10 and 11. Then to our residence for further viewing from 11:30 to 12. Service from 1 to 3 at St. Swithin's Anglican Church, Villeneuve, where burial will take place. So we have to deal I'll have to announce that. And again, I say condolences to all the relatives, friends of those deceased persons. But let me bring in my colleague so we can continue this discussion, especially as it relates to the sergeant who died. Mr. Conway, good morning to you, sir. How have you been?
Morning, good, and happy to be in the land of the living and to do God's work, Paul.
Yes, it's God's work. So we're happy to be in the land of the living. And I was talking about Semple's death, as for to remind persons, because I don't think we as teachers will never assume that everyone on this platform right now on the live are aware of the circumstances. So a brief recap: he was there with his brother and a cousin, um, somewhere in Linden, and there was some argument with the two brothers, Semple and his brother. So the story goes. That is what was reported. And somehow Semple got into some um, confrontation or argument with his cousin, who drew a license. He said he's a licensed firearm holder. He drew his pistol and he fired two shots, according to the report. One struck him in his head. The other one, I don't know if he was struck or if it missed. And then he was in a, the report said he was brain dead. And he was there. I saw a video, very sad situation. But he succumbed. But the question is, how come this man, they say, according to the report again, the man who did the shooting, 27 years old, some contractor, and they said that he got the firearm about 2 years ago. So he got the firearm when he was 25 years old, around then. How can I don't understand. We have been saying here over and over on this program that something is wrong with the old firearm system. Allegations are made that monies are passed, credible allegations for people to get firearm. And one would expect that in a properly run society, this matter, they're not going to only investigate the murder of this sergeant, but people would also investigate how this man, who obviously did not have the right temperament, was granted a licensed firearm. How come? But like again, we say in a proper society, that would have been investigated. Why I'm not going to hold my breath that is going to be investigated in this case. Mr. Conway, your comments, please.
Paul, you're right, and I said maybe do a proper investigation. Ask the question: did he get it from Shiv Chandrapal Drive? Did he get it from Young Street? Did he get it from a house in Rob Street? Did he get it from a building northwest of Brickdown Police Station? Understand there's another building in Lamar Street. The thing is that even though you might be wealthy, you might be a billionaire, but your temperament is not right, you must not get no firearm. When I used to approve firearm, your temperament have to be right. I used to put men unknown to them in stressful situation to see how they would react. And not because you get money and you get a lot of cash that you must get a firearm. Your mental capacity, your temperament is critical. So you as you rightly stated, Paul, that we should look that they should investigate how he obtained this firearm. But perhaps they might not investigate because they might skin up themselves.
Well, so true, so true. And not only that incident, the same thing with as we have been saying too, with some of these fatal accidents we've had. It's an opportunity to do a proper investigation to determine how these people became licensed firearm holder, might get a licensed firearm. And the same thing with the accidents, how they became holders of driver's license. And that might be very revealing. And the truth might be revealed. But I get the impression that many persons don't want to air the truth. Many persons do not want to hear the truth. And let me say this: if you don't know the truth, it simply means that you're not going to be in a position to take measures to address this worrying, this crisis situation. Every day is some incident, shooting incident, fatal accidents. Every day we're going to deal with the fatal accident. As I said in the notification for this program this morning, we're going to again look at fatal accident because the situation is so chaotic. So as the former man in traffic is so chaotic, that's a Guyanese police phrase. The older folks would know what I'm referring to. But it's a bad situation. And the worrying thing that I'm not aware, and I don't think the public is aware of what measures are being taken to address this crisis on the roads. And with firearm license, we talk about firearm license relation to security companies and all that, which we again will address. But it is very, very worrying. Very, very worrying. And CC, I'm sure you'd want to also express condolences to those persons, the relatives of those persons who we have mentioned who passed.
Yes, yes, I endorse what you said, and especially Chief Bacchus. I know him well, and he could always remember an incident when we were taking him to Babu Jan for a Sheddy's cremation. He was involved in an accident. He was taken to Georgetown Hospital where he used to get steady blackout. And we did certain things, and he was able to go to Moncton Hospital where they found a blood clot in his head. And if we didn't take certain proactive action, he would have been here.
Now, let me address this question. Sean James, I have it up there saying that with all the crimes on the street, people need weapons. I don't agree. It's not only that we're not saying that people don't need weapons, but we're saying that is the process and people must be properly trained to use firearms. But we have a situation in Guyana where I am sure if you were to do a survey, you're going to find people in the 90% range who have firearms and don't know how to use it. And when they say don't know how to use it, I'm not talking about how to just point it and squeeze it, but to properly use it and to know when to use it. That is the issue that we have. It's not a case of just people getting the firearms, but how to use. And I have said here before, not only civilians, but even police ranks. Recall the incident on New Year's morning at Huntley Maikoni, where a police fired a few rounds in the direction of his colleague and a man who was scuffling. That clearly shows that lack of training. That man too should have never been carrying a firearm. He doesn't have the right temperament. He doesn't have the right, he can't make the right judgment call. Two men scuffling and you fire a few rounds from what appeared to have been an high-powered firearm in their direction. So that is the issue. So sorry, you might believe that firearms will solve the problem. You say, okay, right. So I think you're agreeing with me that it is not about the firearm alone. It's about a process to make sure those who are eligible are not paying your money. It's not people who can pay. It's not a pay for play situation. It's a pay for play situation. We have all the nonsense going on. You see the security guard shoot your foot. One playing Russian roulette and thing himself. We had a shooting up at a bar where a licensed firearm holder gave his firearm to his cousin. Cousin shoot some wrong in the ear. And you hearing nothing about that matter. Well, of course, I heard something recently, Mr. Conway. I think you did you hear that say what is not unexpected, because I said that in a situation like that, and I think you supported me, that efforts should commence to revoke the firearm from the licensed firearm holder. He is in a bar with a cousin drinking. Somehow the cousin gets the firearm. The cousin who's unlicensed gets the firearm. Fire round in a bar. They seize the firearm, but that's automatic revocation. Automatic revocation. I understand the cousin was charged, and I'm hearing a board is whispering that Jackie Opel intervened. Dudley, I sure you would know what I mean by Jackie Opel. Or Rick, you too. The older people will know. Jackie Opel sang a song. You got to pay. If the older folks, and I understand Jackie Opel came in and money's passed, and the licensed firearm holder who gave his firearm to his cousin, get back his gun. See?
Yeah, I heard it. Was an allegation that 1.5 million to two senior persons, 1.5 million to two senior persons, and the man is in possession of his firearm. It was taken away for a while. Asked to show cause. Perhaps the cause is 3 million Guyana dollars.
Sad. And these things are not being investigated. And people are going to jump and they're going to say all manner of things. Oh, you're making allegations. Yeah, allegations are going to be made. But when allegations are made, you have to investigate them. You have to investigate those allegations. And for the benefit of the person against whom the allegation is made, it is in that person's interest that these allegations are properly investigated and you don't have these things hanging over the person's head. So that is what you have. Right. Dudley saying Jackie Opel lived in Jamaica for a long time. That is true. But Dudley, I want to let you know that my research shows that Jackie Opel is actually a born Barbadian. I did some research some time ago to discover. I was shocked because I really thought that Jackie Opel was a Jamaican. But they say he was born in Barbados. The man sing some couple songs in the days Jackie Opel, you got to pay. I think that was one of the more popular ones. So yes, and the funeral arrangement for Sergeant Semple, he too will be buried on the 27th. According to what the information we have, viewing from 9:30 to 11 at Sandy's funeral home. I think this is not Sandy's in Georgetown. Then to his residence, Uptown, West Coast, Bobby, so for the viewing and burial. So Monday will be the funeral of Sergeant Semple. I'm sure they're going to be a military funeral. And he's going to be buried at Uptown, West Coast, Bobby. So again, condolences to not only to the relatives and friends, but also to the members of the Uganda Police Force who have lost a colleague under such tragic circumstances. Now, having spoken about deaths, let me just take this opportunity now to on a brighter note. I want to the well, hold on, let me hold on. I can't pass this by. Isabella is saying that Jackie Isabella is saying that Jackie Opel now living in Guyana. So he used to live in Jamaica. Jackie Opel, they gotta pay. As I indicated, my research shows that he born in Barbados. But Isabella is saying he now live in Guyana, so everything you got to pay. Good one. That's a good one, Isabella. You got to pay. Right. I want to extend birthday greetings to a co-accused Assistant Commissioner Royston Andrews Jr. Today is his birthday. I saw he posted something, his birthday. I also want to take this opportunity to extend belated birthday greetings to the traffic chief, Superintendent Dennis Stevens. He recently celebrated a birthday. But Royston, bear your chief, man. They like Banuari. Unfortunate story. The matter is going to come to an end at some stage. And I'm sure you're going to be stronger for it. For those people who may not know, Royston Andrews Jr. is one of the men with this trumped-up charge. He, myself, Conway, and others are charged with this conspiracy to commit fraud. One trumped-up thing to get us off of the Police Service Commission, which you're going to deal with as we go on as well. So, Royston, enjoy your day. And bear your chief, man. God don't give you more than you could bear. The Father would not give you more than they can bear. I know that you're resilient and you're going to pull through. And to Dennis Stevens, the traffic chief, belated birthday greetings. You the same. I know you want to get in a lot of blows with all the fatal accidents that are taking place. And people tend to blame the traffic chief. But you got to do as much as you can do, advise on policies and make sure that those policies are implemented. But even though you're the traffic chief, you don't have the power to deal with certain situations. You should get your people together and come up with proper policies and take it to the administration for them to support and to implement. But don't blame yourself. Don't knock yourself too hard. I know it's not easy. I was a traffic chief. I said on 2 occasions that when this thing happen, I know you tend to look at it and people tend to blame you because people might believe, say, well, you responsible. As one traffic chief told the then commissioner, he don't go on the road and drive and kill people. And I show you don't do that. So, yes, birthday greetings to those persons. CC?
Yeah, and also to birthday greetings to Royston and the traffic chief. Traffic chief is doing a good job, but he needs lots and lots of support from the police and from members of the public.
Yeah, let me quickly address this thing. I'm not going to be going it over and over. If they want to learn, they want to learn. If they don't want to learn, that is up to them. And I'm referring here to the Corporate Communications Unit, or as I would call them, the Propaganda Unit. We made the point that they're saying that people are cautioned before arrested. We point out that is not the procedure. You have to arrest a person. The person has to be in custody. Then they are cautioned. And they continue with the same thing. I saw a release. Somebody was cautioned and arrested. And the reason why I'm going over again is because the younger policemen have to understand the correct process and procedure. Because if you were to go into court to give evidence and tell people that you caution the man and then you arrest him, you're going to run into problems. You're going to get beat up in the witness box. So understand what is the correct procedure. Don't take my word for it. Go and read. Go and read. The person is in custody. As I said before, we have said the person is arrested. They are told of the offense for which they're arrested. You have to tell the person why you are arresting him, and then you caution him. He's not obliged to say anything unless he wishes to do so. And anything he say will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence. Words to that effect are told to the person. Last week, he even went through the American system with the Miranda rights and to read. In that case, to tell the person of his rights to have an attorney and that. But coming back to this thing with Guyana, one of the things that I should have mentioned last week is that when you arrest a person and the person wants to make a statement, the person should be told that he can write his own statement, or he can nominate someone to write the statement for him. It's not necessarily a police, right? He can write his own statement. People don't know that. Some people go, police say, give me a statement. The police, you dictate something and the police write what they want to write and then they make you sign. But you have a right to say, look, I'm going to write my own statement. You're educated enough, I can write my own statement. I'm intelligent enough. Or you nominate, look, all right, I want some lawyer or somebody else come and write this statement for me. I don't want you, the police, write it. That is your right. So you need to understand that. And again, I say to the young police, learn what is the correct thing. Because you go into the witness box and you make one mistake, you're going to get blows and then you become flustered and you can't give the evidence properly, the person walks free. So don't listen to these civilians who don't know the procedure. And one of the things that disturbs me a lot is that I'm sure people like the crime chief and them, he's a liar, they know what is the correct thing. And therefore, they should insist, they should tell the corporate communication unit, do not put that rubbish out there. They should insist. Because, when these things are published there with social media now, people call me and ask me all kind of questions. If that is it in Guyana, and I tell them, no, that is not the correct procedure in Guyana. But people need to know, because when they publish these things, people tend to believe, well, Guyana is a backward place, and perhaps they are right. So let's understand, young policemen and even the not so young ones, make sure you learn the correct thing. Mr. Conway.
Yeah, and in terms of telling the person about the allegation, according to the Constitution of Guyana, say it must be told in simple language, in language that he understands, and in detail what is it you are investigating. And even going to the confusing unit, I read that day they say they're talking about a fire incident. There's a fire and they say a fire incident.
My brother, again, a lot of incidents now is not accident, but I don't know it's a fire incident. I read it too. I read it. I don't know what is a fire incident. Alleged, they say an alleged fire incident. I don't know that they get alleged fire, an alleged fire. It was a fire. It was a fire. You might not know what the motive was, if it was accidental or if it was arson, but it was a fire. So I don't know, it's about alleged fire incident and all of that nonsense. And make people asking me, poor by me, I did so long removed from the police force, over 13 years, almost 13 years, sorry. And people are asking me, what really going on? What really going on? Right? Now, Carlton, let me tell you this. Carlton is asking a question here about when a person is arrested. I mean, we teaching. The general rule is that you have to take or restrain. An arrest is the taking of restraining of a person from his or her liberty so that he can be forthcoming to answer some charge, blah, blah, blah. That's how the definition goes. I think Mr. Conway might remember it even better than I do. But that is why it was started in 1974. An arrest is the taking or restraining of a person from his or her liberty so that he can be forthcoming to answer some charge and so on. Mr. Conway, you want to help me out with the definition here?
And they say mere words does not constitute an arrest. There must be some form of touching or restraining. But if the person believes that he's under arrest and he accompanied to the station, well, that is a proper arrest.
Correct. That's the point. And Carlton is the point we want to make. That is what the point we want to make. So even if there's no touching or restraining, and you tell a person, look, you're under arrest, and the person subjects himself to that, he gives up. Let's say, sorry, you're under arrest, and you're inviting him to go into the police vehicle. He gets into the police vehicle. You're untouchy, you're unrestrained, he goes into the police vehicle, and then he escapes. He can be properly charged and convicted for escaping from lawful custody because he can be held. The fact that he subjected himself to that, then he was properly under arrest. If he stand up and he ain't going nowhere, then you have to restrain for him to be arrested. For example, we had the arrest of the mayor not so long ago, the mayor of Georgetown, and you would have seen it was there on the tape. The detective officer went in there and he told him, say, well, look, he under arrest. He never took the step to restrain or to hold or to touch or to restrain. He never took that. At least that wasn't shown on the tape. But the mayor decided he can accompany to the station. So in other words, the mayor decided, yes, I'm under arrest. And it's a state of mind. Once you decided that you're under arrest and you subject yourself in that manner, you are under arrest. So understand it. So it's a little technical thing. And I remember doing studies and and that is the beauty about going to colleges to do policing, and all of those technical aspects are discussed with you. So you understand the little fineries, as they would say, in this matter. So Carlton, I hope that clarifies. Sean is saying a great example. Yes. So touching, restraining in the first instance, but there are exceptions to that general rule. So let me just bring it to attention. Now, let me move on. We talk again about the I number of and here we getting it. I'm getting it from the RSS mouth here. Look, let me put it up. Not that one. Sorry, this one here. The concept of psychological detention exists in law. Psychological detention, that is what Attorney Selwyn Peters is saying. The concept of psychological detention exists in law, right? So, again, this is the final thing, but the young policeman we are taught arrested is taking or restraining of a person from his or her liberty, and they say it must be some touching and so on. But as I've said, they are technical issues involving that. And I don't think we have enough time to go through. But as I always encourage you people to read. So let me move on. We're talking here now about this high number of fatal accidents. High number. And last week I was to show the madness that's going on in the road. Let me show one of these crazy things that is causing all of this problem. Look at this. I'm going to show it a few times. Let me see if I can find this tape for you to see exactly what is going on. I have a tape here with a vehicle. Where is it? I can't seem to put my hand on it at the moment. But I have a video clip. I don't see it here any longer. I had a video clip of a minibus driving on the road. But not the road, on a bridge. There's a pedestrian walkway, and a minibus driving on the pedestrian walkway. I'm sorry, but I don't seem to have it here now to play it for you. But I wanted to show you this morning, but it doesn't appear to be here any longer. Let me see if it is in the file. No. Hold on. Bear with me a minute, people. I really wanted you to see that I really wanted you to see that accident, but I don't think I have it here any longer. Let me show you. Look at this. Look at this. This is yesterday. And it's every day you have these accidents around the place. Every day you have these accidents. And when you have these accidents, what happens? People lost their life, damage to property, and all of that. Every day in Guyana. Somebody sent me one to where in front of East Paintons police station. I think that's yesterday I think it might have been. Again, vehicle running the road. And it comes back to this old question of how some people acquire their driver's license. How they acquire their driver's license. Folks, I'm sorry I'm not able to show you this clip with the minibus that is driving on the pedestrian. They have a pedestrian bridge somewhere in the East Bank. And the minibus man driving on the pedestrian bridge. He's driving on the bridge. They just, I don't know if anything happened to him. And again, we say that we got to talk about these accidents because last week when we spoke, between last week and now, my record shows that there have been at least 5 or 6 additional fatalities, not accidents, where people die. We talk about fatalities, right? I remember the one. There was one at Linden, and the Linden seems like I went with the car driver, and then Timeri roundabout. And let you know the Timeri roundabout one. Again, I got a thing to show you. The release on the police with the Timeri roundabout. Where is it? I have to find that one. I'm gonna show you it a little later. Timeri roundabout, where the police reported, and this is I wanted to show you the release of the police because you might believe I am making this up. The police reported that in that accident somebody died, and they say a dog died as well. Police report. That's a police report to say a dog also died, right? So let me see. Somebody sending me the thing with the accident, but I can't get to show it. Not the accident, the minibus. So the police report, I'm going to try to bring it up and show you the police release. So you don't believe I am making these things up. The police report said that one person died in the accident, also a dog. And, people said, well, you all said the cock in the figures. They're on the reporting. So maybe the reporting and all that, whether it's human beings or animals, they're reporting on. But this thing is laughable. So you had that. And then you had a motorcyclist on the East Bank. If you recall, not so long ago, they said that he drove into a truck, killed. Someone was telling me all his brain was all over the road. Then they had one on the Essequibo coast. And then they also had one where a vehicle ran over a man this couple of days ago on West Coast, Demrar. So lots, and based on the count, you got to be 40-something fatal deaths, not accidents. Remember, I've been telling you that you get fatal accidents, and one accident can result in multiple deaths, such as the one we had on the West Coast some days ago with the truck driver and the minibus. 5 persons died in that one accident. So when you hear accident, don't assume that it's one death. So you have accidents and you have deaths. 40-something deaths on the road for this year. CC.
Yeah, Paul. Critical, Rohan Singh's report, Rohan Singh's letter to the press. He concluded, I think the figures is 1,157. He said, potential killers were let loose on our roads. Over 1,000 potential killers. Perhaps by now, they are the persons who are causing the accident. They are no real killers. Did they investigate those 1,000 and something persons who get their license illegally? And also investigate who granted them those licenses. They just leave it at that. Over 1,000, the man said, 1,000 potential killers were let loose on our roads. And I want to believe they are no real killers, but nobody investigated them. Nobody find out who were the persons and get to suspend their license or scrap their license, and also those persons who issue their license. Critical.
You're right. And that is part of the worrying thing. You have all of these deaths. The man who sits in the chair as the acting commissioner came out a couple of Fridays ago, called a meeting with all the traffic heads. And his response was to transfer them, call it rotation, transfer the traffic heads, gave some foolish instructions. I don't know that can curb the madness on the road. What you said, people must use rank directing traffic, must not use cell phone. I agree, they must use cell phone on duty period, right? But I don't know that is going to contribute to the lessening of fatal accidents on the road. And then he said, you must stop and check vehicle. Junior rank must not stop and check vehicle without an inspector or an officer present. He speaks about lining the road. What the phrase he used, people must use a fancy phrase that people must think along the road. Let me see he said they must make use of the forces, resources, vehicles, and bike when executing their duties. Now you got to tell people. Imagine that you call a meeting to tell them that you got to use the resources, the force when executing your duty. What craziness is that? What craziness? Then they say order that ramps must be stretched along the road. Stretch along the road corridors in order to slow down vehicles as a preventative measure to curb speeding. That is the response of the man who sits in the chair. No wonder you continue to have all of these road deaths. And in the meanwhile, apart from that statement issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs some weeks ago, where they told you the figure, at that time, there were 16 deaths as compared to 8 the previous year, which was a 100% increase. Since then, you have had like about 30 more. And you haven't ordered from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Nothing more. And we are not saying that and I made this point, the police are to be blamed and all of that. But you have to have policies, and in order for you to have proper policies, you have to review what is the current situation. People talking about corruption. Even recently, as recent as yesterday, the United States State Department in the annual report for 2022 spoke about corruption in the Guyana Police Force and other government agencies. One would expect that the relevant ministry, in this case the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Commissioner of Police, will come face the public, tell us what are your plans to deal with the situation. As I've said, do a review. Why are these accidents happening so frequently? Is it the fact that we're suggesting that because of corruption and people get a license by corrupt means they don't know to drive? Is it a case, in some cases, of a road engineer, bad road engineer? What are causing? Do the studies. You know, some years ago when I was a traffic chief, I remember Dr. Budu was brought in from some university in the United States to do a comprehensive study on roadways in Guyana. And he did the study and put up a report which suggests that the stretch of road in the Better Hope area at that time was the most dangerous in Guyana. He did that. He copied all the stats and all of the thing and said that was the most dangerous stretch of road. And he recommended some solutions and they were implemented. That is the way you have to go. You have to be scientific about this thing. Don't sit down and tell us, oh, well, you believe people are inattentive. That's what the ministry statement said. People inattentiveness, speeding, driving under influence. And let's get proper data and put proper measures in place to deal with these things. You come up recently, you tweak the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, and now driving under the influence is what, $200,000 fine. I saw a man at West Demerara, I think, or Bartik or somewhere, they was fined $200,000. Yeah, that is good to increase the fine. But you have to have a more comprehensive approach to this whole thing. Because last Friday I was with some friends and they said, well, when you increase the fine for driving under the influence and all of those things, you're giving the police more authority to bargain because you have a corrupt system. You are giving them more authority to bargain. So you're going to go and pay 200,000 or you're going to live at 20. That's the reality. That is the reality. And unless you address those issues, you're not going to be making any significant impact on this worrying situation. Mr. Conway, your piece, please.
Paul, they have a strategic plan to deal with traffic. They put up what they call a so-called, some notes here. There's no short-term, medium-term, or long-term plan. Here is the strategic objectives. They call it strategic objectives. To develop and implement a robust traffic management system by 2026. I repeat, strategic objectives to develop and implement a robust traffic management system by 2026. Measurable objectives. This is how they're going to see whether they're winning or losing the game. To improve traffic posture and traffic management by 2026. Resource required. Here it is now. Resources required. Equipment. Workshops. Learner driver seminar. Campaign. Traffic management plan. Strategic activities. Conduct seminar with road users and drivers quarterly to promote road safety on an annual basis by 2026. Conduct traffic safety campaigns and educational programs in the regional division monthly by 2026. Conduct law sessions monthly with the regional divisions by 2026. Implement robust traffic management systems in collaboration with agencies and government departments, develop and implement traffic management plan. That is their strategic plan. It is not what we call SMART. If you put in a plan, it must be S, specific, M must be measurable, A, achievable, R, realistic, and T, timely. And they get the plan is top secret. No, sorry, wrong word. The plan is confidential, like the RAS report. Confidential. They want people to assist them, and just a limited few people know about it. A few people in the executive leadership team know about it. The deputies don't know about it. The junior officers don't know about it. The inspectors don't know about it. The station sergeant don't know about it. The constables don't know about it. The community policing don't know about this thing. It's locked away. They have some electronic copies, limited, that are not circulating, and they have some hard copies locked away, secured properly at headquarters. So how they going to bring sanity to what the madness is going on the road there? They have their plan, but the plan you need to tear up and dump in a waste paper basket.
Well, maybe that is why it has not been made public, because maybe somebody recognized that. Let me say this to you, CC, and our viewers. I have a copy of this plan, and I started to read it, but it is a difficult read. It is extremely difficult to read. I promise that at some stage I can find the courage to read the plan. But again, those of us who went to some school, you have a lot of people in the force now who have tertiary education who can contribute. But to put a plan, a strategic plan in place, and it is not known by the people who are expected to carry out this plan, is rubbish. I saw the part that I read. People, you're not going to believe this, but they attempted to show that there was consultation with stakeholders. They mentioned the stakeholders that they consult. They have about 2 pages at the back somewhere in the plan to tell you of who they did not get to contact. They call this body, the person promised to return a call. That is in a strategic plan. We call this person, the person promised to return a call that did not do so. We attempted to contact this person and we weren't able to do so. That is part of the document that they circulate. Well, I should say circulate, that they prepare as a strategic plan. It is madness. It is madness. And I'm sure there are people in the system who would know better. But whether the resources are properly utilized, that is the next question. That is the next question. But given all that is taking place on the roads, the madness on the road, that is the strategic plan for 2022, 2026 to deal with traffic. You hear anything now about it has nothing about a recommendation for improved legislation for driver's license. It has nothing about the engineering aspect to recommend. Because remember, when you think a plan, you, the police, you are not going to be able to implement necessarily all of it. But you have to make recommendations to the relevant authorities. The law and the driver thing is within your purview. You have to be able, something should have been there to say you're going to address this situation. Everybody talking about it. Corruption on the road. What are your plans to deal with? Nothing in this strategic plan to deal with that. Imagine at the meeting, as I said before, the acting commissioner, the man who sits in the chair, got to tell people they must utilize the resources, vehicles, and so on in your duty. Imagine that. You have to tell people that is what they must do to take in the duty. Those are some of the difficulties we have. You have people who are blind, who are leading. And when you have the blind leading, anything will happen. That is what is happening here now. That is what is happening. And we will continue to talk about the traffic situation because, as I've said, is every week. Even the ministry admitted in the release they gave a few weeks ago to say that it appears that every day there is a serious accident or a fatal accident in the country. The ministry acknowledged that. Having acknowledged that, what are you doing about it, Mr. Minister? What are you doing about it? That is the question to be answered. What are you? Maybe you're doing something. Maybe you're doing something. Maybe the man who sits in the chair is doing something. Well, you got to let the public know. You have to let the public know. You people are public servants. You can't just sit down there and everything is top secret. Everything. Because if you are going to get an improvement on the road, you have to have all categories of road users involved. All categories. Whether they're drivers, whether they're pedestrians, whether they are riders, all categories. Whether, as we said, traffic includes all categories of motor vehicles and animals, whether ridden, driven, or led. All categories have to be involved to make sure that things stop in the first instance, reduce, and there's a significant improvement in the situation. I said in the letter that I wrote to Starbucks News some weeks ago, Guyana cannot afford to lose its vital resources, human resources in this manner. And we talk about tourism and all of that. I made the point that I walk around the Caribbean. People don't drive when they come to Guyana. You know, they're not. I am driving in Guyana. They drive elsewhere, rent car and drive. They say not in Guyana. It's madness on the road. They're taking the chance. So we have to make sure, because people, when you talk about tourists, a tourist want to arrive at the airport, take a taxi, a rental car, and drive around the place. Can't do that in Guyana. Cannot do that in Guyana. It's sheer craziness. So, CC, anything else on this traffic situation?
Let me leave it for some other time. Next week we'll take
All
a
right.
little piece of the time.
There's an issue that I want us to deal with now. I saw on social media yesterday a complaint from someone in New Amsterdam. And let me put up, I think I have the complaint here. I want to put it up so that people can see what this complaint is about. There it is. There it is. And I'm going to read and you can read along. This is someone who's complaining yesterday. Good morning, Facebookers, especially my friends in the Guyana Police Force and former members. I am perturbed by the recent actions of some ranks of the Guyana Police Force who are currently patrolling this New Amsterdam area. It has been reported that the ranks are stopping and searching young men and recording while questioning them, also taking pictures of them with their cell phones. Then the persons are, is this even legal? Are our sons being criminalized? What happens to those pictures after they are taken? Are they placed on a file for identification purposes, just in case the police need a lineup? Could somebody advise me as to what options available to me? My sons have been targeted for special attention by these ranks of the Guyana Police Force, and I'm calling on the commander, and the two I see, that is the second in command of B Division, well, Region Division 6, to please address this situation before it escalates. As a former member of the Guyana Police Force, I always try to stay on the right side of the law. That is a post on social media yesterday. Now let me answer the person right away. That what they are alleging here, that people are being stopped and searched and photographed on the road, is illegal. It is illegal. We will speak to the law dealing with this in a short way. It's illegal. Somebody even complained yesterday that told me that the police stopped this young man to search him. They pat him down and they made him drop his pants in the public. They made him drop his trousers in the public to search. People are looking at and they met this man on the road in the public. He had to take down his pants and for them to search to see if he had anything illegal. Of course, they did not find anything illegal. And the person is asking if that is legal. It's totally illegal. It is illegal. You can't be taking out people's picture and that. Yeah, you got a duty. You can stop, search, and detain under certain circumstances. But and needless to say, the persons, it's a particular group of persons, a particular ethnic group that this treatment is meted out to. It's a particular ethnic group. And before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me put up for you what the law is. I think I have it here. Hold, bear with me. Bear with me. Let me tell you what the law is in relation to that. Now look what the law says. Section 25 of the Police Act, Chapter 1601, deals with what the complaint is talking about. And here what it says. I'm going to read it. You can read it too. It's up there, and then we're going to discuss it. It says, it shall be lawful for any member of the force to take and record for the purpose of identification any measurement, photographs, or fingerprint impressions of, and I put this in red for emphasis, all persons who may from time to time be in lawful custody. Let me read that back. It shall be lawful for any member of the force to take and record for the purpose of identification and any measurement, photographs, and fingerprint impressions of all persons who may from time to time be in lawful custody. Section 1 of 25, it goes on to say, provided that such measurements, photographs, and fingerprint impressions are taken of a person who has not previously, I'm going to read it back, provided that if such measurements, photographs, and fingerprint impressions are taken of a person who has not previously been convicted of any crime or offense, and such a person is discharged or acquitted by a court, all records relating to such measurements, photographs, and fingerprint impression shall forthwith be destroyed or handed over to the person. Let me go to section 2. Section 2 says, any person who shall refuse to submit to the taking and recording of any of his measurement, photographs, or fingerprint impression shall be taken before a magistrate who, on being satisfied that such a person is in lawful custody, shall make such order as he thinks fit, authorizing any member of the force to take the measurements, photographs, or fingerprint impressions of such a person. And then the last subsection says, for the purpose of this section, that's section 25 of chapter 1601, the Police Act, that's where the police derive their powers from. For the purpose of this section, a person shall be deemed to be in lawful custody where he is lawfully detained at any police station in connection with the commissions of any crime or offense within the meaning of section 2 of the Prevention of Crimes Act. You can't want it more explicit than that. You cannot want it more explicit than that. So having regards to what this law says, to stop a person on the road and take out their photograph, as I understand from the people, that the police are saying, look, they get order from headquarters, that is what they must do. They get orders from headquarters, and I understand this has been going on for some time, that you just stop people, you search them, and you take out their photographs. You take out their photographs, totally unconstitutional, totally illegal. Mr. Conway, please.
It cannot be clearer, Paul. It is very, very clear. And it started some time ago, you know. Remember when they were doing their Christmas policing and the supervisor visits persons on the beat. They were taking out their photographs. They're talking about their own police. They were taking out their photographs and they said they got sent it to headquarters. Those are the instructions, the standing instructions. I don't know about other divisions, but I know for sure is in Borbis. That's where I'm from, and I have special interest in Borbis. That persons on the beat, persons in the boots, supervisors come, talk to them, take out the photographs, and say they're sending it to headquarters. Now it has continued, it's gone out to members of the public, which is wrong, which is illegal. And the thing is, the SOP is clear. When you're investigating a matter, that is the time when you have the person in lawful custody, and it says when the person at station. We used to do record a conviction report form and take their fingerprints, and you send it to CID headquarters, Criminal Records Office, to find out whether the person is being convicted or not. Because sometime in court, the magistrate asks any convictions, any CR, and then you say yes, 3 or 4. This is the report that we get from Criminal Record Office. So in the process of investigation, where they're preparing a crime file or ordinary case jacket, then is when you do the conviction report form, and if the person isn't convicted, you destroy it. And it used to be, as it won't be unto any station sergeant, a person is convicted and they don't send that case jacket to the divisional commander, who will then forward the conviction to the Criminal Records Office. But we have cases now where Persons with 5, 6, sometimes 10 conviction apply for police clearance, no trace, only because the persons at station level in the divisions did not send those conviction report forms to the CRO. So the position is you not to take it out on the road during the course of investigation. When the person is arrested and lawfully held at station, then is when you take the particulars. To do otherwise is illegal.
Yes, indeed. And the question is, what instruments are being used to take out these photographs? Is it their personal cell phone?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, their
well,
cell phone.
again, that is, some years ago, if you recall, when we were doing this standing order review, we did we put together a standing order to deal with the use of mobile electronic devices, including cell phones and laptops and iPads and all those type of things. They never implemented it. So it's Wild West. There are no guidelines as to how these things can be used. But oh, is it a police state? How can you be going around the place, stopping people, searching them, making mails, drop their pants in the public to say you're searching, and then you take out their photographs and retain these photographs? That is illegal. And I would say that these people who have had that type of treatment meted out to them should seek legal advice. Should seek legal advice, because, as I've said again, it should not be allowed to continue. And if you don't take action against it, the people will continue to do this craziness. They continue again. The point is, and as I've said, the information is those instructions came from police headquarters. They were instructed that that is the way they should operate. So you have people who will say that either they don't know better or they just don't care. To them, the law and people's rights does not do not matter. So they tell the people all do this, and unfortunately, you have ranks who don't know, or perhaps in some cases they know, but they are so intimidating that they do what is the incorrect thing. Watch it, because you are going to subject yourself to civil liability. You cannot be going about the place. I don't care what you want to say. You're trying to fight crime. Good. I have been a crime fighter all my professional life in the police force. I'm a crime fighter. Um, but you have to, I make this point, you cannot break the law to enforce the law. You have to operate within the confines of the law. And if you believe the law is too restrictive, then you have to lobby the people to make sure that the necessary changes are made. You can't be making your own law. You cannot be making your own law, because in doing so, you're putting people against you. They have all of this big thing about going about, and they're reaching out to the community, and they're doing all of that, which is good. But when you stopping people on the road and you're profiling them and embarrassing them by making them drop the pants and take another photograph, you believe those people are going to be on your side? You believe they and their family are going to be on your side? I said no. They are not going to be on your side. So the person who reached out and asked about this incident and asked for the guidelines, I hope, and I say again, it's Section 25 of the Police Act, Chapter 1601, deals with this issue about taking measurements, taking photographs, taking fingerprint. Section 25. Don't say, it's not Slow and Conway saying so. That's what the law says. It is there. You can read it for yourself and interpret it. You can read it, interpret it for yourself. That is what the law says. And anything other than that is illegal. Mr. Conway?
Yeah, Paul, and I have the lawyer, and you did not add, alter, or correct anything. You printed it as it is.
Well,
But it's
exactly. That's
but
why I
it's
want. And again, I say to my viewers, our listeners, and people who are watching, that is why we do the research, and we want to put it up for you to see. So as I read it, but I made sure I put up the slides for you to see yourself. And I am pointing you to the relevant sections in the law that deals with this. So you can go and Google it, Laws of Guyana, Chapter 1601, which is the Police Act, and you're gonna see right? Because I don't think there's been any change to that section, or many of the sections there have not been any change. And section 1601, 1601, chapter 1601, is what gives the police the powers of arrest, and it tells you about everything how the police should function. 1601. So go and read it for yourself. Yes, Mr. Conway.
Yeah, and if they they don't have internet connection, Paul, they can go to the Attorney General chambers. They could go to the legislative section of the Parliament building. These volumes are selling very cheap. Some cost less than 2 guineas. Buy the books, and also I go there regularly. The staff there, they are very courteous. Courteous. Courtesy is the name of the game with them, that they can purchase these things. But coming back to this illegal action by the police, and I must say that I think it started during the Christmas policing, when they were checking on their ranks and they want to get evidence that they are there on the beat. They take out the photographs and then they send it to headquarters. But the Christmas policing come and gone, finish on 15th of January. No review, no evaluation. They don't know whether they're winning or losing the game, and nothing. So this year we'll have the same thing going again. That if you don't evaluate, if you don't check, you don't know whether you're winning or losing the game. You don't know if there are lessons to be learned, whether you identify persons with leadership qualities, you identify slackers and anything, whether your procedures or did work as expected, those things, and they don't do no any review.
I see a question here. Let me I think they say don't get mixed up. Somebody saying here, they asked the question if all the pictures taken by the police of protesters. No, that is something different. Um, that is something different. So don't get mixed up. We're talking about people who are lawful, who are held in custody. And the law says that once you're held in lawful custody, you can do that. But it's normal practice all over the world that if there's a protest, there's a demonstration, photographs are going to be taken to identify if laws are broken and so on. So don't get mixed up with it. What we're talking about here, people going about their lawful business on the road, they are stopped, they are searched, and their photographs are taken. It's a different issue altogether. So let's don't get mixed up. We are saying that if there's a protest, that's all over, whether in the US, supposed to be the bastion of democracy, and anywhere, in the UK, anywhere, you got a protest for whatever reason, photographs are going to be taken, either video recording or still photographs are going to be taken. That is normal policing. So don't get mixed up with it. I share the life. Just continue to share the life. School, well, I can't say that we're bursting at these teams. They're full and it overflowing, but I'm sure that people can somehow stand up on some place and get a look in the class to hear what is going on. We have hundreds and hundreds of persons here on the live. So continue to share the live and don't be selfish. Let people know that we are bringing you. I'm sure based on the comments, people find the information very, very useful. People find the information useful. So I want to go on. There's an issue yesterday. Those of you who have been following the news, you would have seen that the guided 2022 Human Rights Report by the United States Department was released. People, it was released. This program is entitled Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. That is what the name of the program is. They address the issue about corruption. That's the United States State Department reporting on Guyana. They address the issue of corruption in Guyana. Let me read what excerpts of what the report said. I have the report. Let me read. Because they like to say Slow and Conway, they might believe, they don't say it, but they might believe that we are distorting things. We are making up things, and they're going to want to attack us. Well, I'm reading what the report from the United States State Department said. And there, let me go to it slowly. They say, and these are excerpts, there remained a widespread public perception of corruption involving officials at all levels and all branches of government, including the judiciary and the police. Friends, let me go back that again. This is the United States of America. States Department report on Guyana for 2022 dealing with human rights, and this is contained in the executive summary of the report. It says, I read in back this part, there remains a widespread public perception of corruption involving officials at all levels and all branches of government, including the judiciary and the police. Well, when you talk about branches of government, I remember my classes at university. There are three branches. You're talking about the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Branches of government, they are three. So when they say all branches of government, that is what they're saying. I'm waiting to hear if the people in these branches are going to come out to rebut what is being said. That is what they say. And then they go on. They did not end there. When they talk about corruption, they say corruption by police officers was frequent. Corruption by police officers was frequent. In August, police officer Dion Bascom alleged that a businessman bribed members of the Guyana police force to foil an investigation into an execution-style killing of Ricardo Fagundes, a gold miner. And it goes on to say, as of October, that is October 2022, police had not investigated Bascom's claim. This is the United States Department of State damaging report. I mean, read back the part. It said corruption by police officers was frequent. In August, police officer Dion Bascom alleged that a businessman bribed members of the Guyana police force to foil an investigation into an execution-style killing of Ricardo Fagundes. We know they call it paper shards, a gold miner. And they're saying, as of October 2022, police had not investigated Bascom's claim. But what they did not say is that even though they didn't investigate the claim, they also called press conference to debunk the allegation. They then actually tried to run you out of your job. Yet he's still before the court now with a whole set of charges for cybercrime, right? And they even disregarded the relevant laws, what we call it with witness protection laws, where it is clear that the man is, based on what he says, he's a whistleblower, and the law says how such a person should be dealt with. They disregarded that. His attorney reached out to the president for him to be provided with protection because his life, having made these allegations, was in danger. They ignored that. So, Mr. Conway, before I go on, let me bring you in, man. Let me hear you about this. I call it a damning report. Let me hear you.
I also read it, and let me just stick on the detective sergeant Boston. They tried to discredit him. They made a horrible attempt to debunk what he was saying. Boston made some revealing things, but they tried to discredit him. One of the things they said that he was occupying a house, a premises owned by a businessman, without paying rent free. And it's the same businessman, his business entity, the police, in a public function, a public occasion, received 10 motor vehicles from the same man that is a Bascom occupying one of his buildings rent free. Even if, I'm not saying Bascom the bad man, even if Bascom was dishonest, what he's saying is the truth. He's talking the truth. I can recall Sopico. Sopico spilled the bean. Sopico was a whistleblower, and Sopico brought down the NYPD, and they had a strumpet in I think in South Australia that brought down that state police force. One man is presently serving a life sentence, and he was one of the best cops in a state. So even if a man is of questionable character, the things that he's saying, it could be damn well truth, could be talking the truth, and the police should have made all the efforts, do all the investigation to get down to the bottom of it. But no, they hustled in labor time to debunk what he was saying, and they made a horrible attempt on it. And corruption is widespread. Corruption is widespread in the police force. We heard of allegation about the firearm license firearm over $3 million Ghana between two high-ranking policemen. And the best don't call me for gay variance. Me want the home affairs call or see or the major crime unit and ask me because I have no confidence in them. I have no confidence whatsoever in them. I'll put my allegation elsewhere to persons who I know will take the necessary action. Corruption is a rifle from top to bottom in this Guyana police force.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Let me tell you this. They try to criminalize Bascom and all of that. But old people got a saying, and the old people sayings are always correct. They say that if Patwa come from river bottom and tell you say Uri get fever, you got to believe him. Again, for those people who don't know, Patwa is a fish. Uri is a fish. So if one fish comes from the bottom of the river and tells you that the next fish get fever, you have to believe what this fish tells you. You have to believe. And in any event, if you don't believe, at least the least you can do is to hold a credible investigation.
Yeah.
And they talk about the RSS, the police. RSS came to review this statement made by Bascom, or the allegation made by Bascom. And they didn't even ask Bascom a single question. They never asked Bascom a question. So on what basis they can determine whether the allegation has merit or not? On what basis? On what basis? This man made an allegation. The president said he invited the RSS. Some people say a vowel is left out, to come and to investigate or to oversee or to review the investigation. They came, spent how much time they spent, and they never spoke to Bascom. Bascom said, and his lawyer said that they never spoke with him. They never asked him a single question. So how are they in a position? How can they be in a position to say whether this allegation is credible or not? Cannot. Any ordinary person will tell you that you can't come to oversee something, and the man who makes the allegation is not asked a single question, is not even met, and then you want to tell me, oh, some nonsense you come up with the thing. But it's what the US is saying. And I want the attack. When Slow and Conway and other people speak about the corruption and all the craziness is going on, they like to attack. They send their attack dogs. They send the trolls. They send the amphibians. They send the jagabats and the trench crappos to write our thing. I'm waiting to see what how they're gonna attack this report from the United States State Department. And it goes on. It says here there were several reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. You hear what the report is saying? There were several reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. And then they highlighted a few. They said the killing of Dean Rad Singh, the killing of Quindon Bacchus, the killing of Orrin Boston. They highlighted those. I think they had mentioned Junior, and you have others that they didn't mention, but they mentioned those three. And then they go on to mention Peter Edley, and they highlighted that as of October of last year, the inquest that was ordered had not been held. They say in Peter Edley's case, an inquest was ordered, but then they are pointing out that as of October 2022, the inquest ordered had not been held. And again, this is a damning report against what is going on, and people will jump around. They're going to put out the trolls. Well, we have to see. I know how they're going to attack the credibility of the U.S. report. I don't know how they're going to attack that credibility. See, extrajudicial killing, they spoke about it as well.
Yeah, and Paul, you You mentioned that they didn't interview Bascom. I said it before he died. Late Senior Superintendent Cooper, who was the commander for the division, who was one of the first responders, who had good intelligence, actionable intelligence about the killings there. They did not interview him. The police escort them there, and they put them there to talk to people who they want them to talk to. Imagine the commander for the division, who was a first responder to the scene, who was there from beginning. They did not. The RSS, if they clearly came to, the RSS did not interview him. An extrajudicial killing taking place, and no inquest has been held. I can't recall when last I heard a magistrate conducted an inquest to find out if anybody is criminally responsible for the death of anybody. They don't hold inquests. Whether the paper inquest or otherwise, they don't hold inquests, Paul.
Well, the problem with the inquest and so on is the fact that the actually going to say is the shortage of magistrates, because there is no judicial service commission, and therefore appointments to the bench and the judges and magistrates cannot be made, and that is part of the problem. The chief justice and the chancellor, they spoke about it not so long ago, that the judges are overworked and stressed out because of all these cases. Because, in recent years, the Guyanese have become more litigious. People run into the court more often now. And therefore, it's the same set of judges. And so therefore, they're under pressure. So if we want to deal with this thing again, that's what we say, you have to have an holistic approach to this whole thing. We have to have this piecemeal thing is not going to work. We have to have an holistic approach. But this report, in my view, is a very damning report when they talk about corruption of all levels. That is what the U.S. is saying. The U.S. is saying, some people going to come out and they're going to attack the U.S. and say, well, the U.S. don't talk about corruption because they have corruption in the United States too. That is them. They must say, let it take on a fight. But the report is saying they're going to say corruption by police officers was frequent. And let me tell you something. No one can deny that. No one can deny that. It is barefaced now. It is barefaced. Where a man told me of a story, he went to a certain place to renew his firearm license. And the man said, as he was coming down, police take him carry into some little shed. And the police tell him, said, well, he took two of them. And the police tell him, said, he got to left something. The man said, for what? He said, well, just left something. And the other man gave the police a raise. And when the police turned to him, he said, well, buddy, me ain't get nothing. No man give for me and you. That man gave, and this was in a police division headquarters, this is occurring. So the thing is widespread. The thing is widespread, and the people barefaced now. Barefaced. And I'm waiting for all of them who are going to come to say corruption was there all the time. Nobody will deny that. Corruption has always been there. But the magnitude and the levels now, the magnitude and the levels, when talk about levels, that about the rank levels of the people who are involved, is alarming. Because like now is a fight for self. Everybody hustling now. Everybody hustling. Right? And I maintain, as we have said before, they are good, honest, hardworking policemen. Good work, honest, hardworking policemen. And one of the issues I've always had when I was a member of the force and since I left, I tell people why I don't like corrupt police and why I am against corruption. Because when these statements are made, people talk about police. They don't single out an individual, or very rare do they single out an individual police who said this man corrupt. They'll say police corrupt. So they're painting everybody with the same brush, which is unfair, but understandable. Based on your experience, it is understandable. But I maintain that you have honest, hardworking, good police in the force. We would have read on occasions where people offer police bribe and get into trouble because the police set trap, catch them, lock them up. There was a matter with some man, I think in Drineville not so long ago. These things tend to disappear. Some sergeant collect some bribe, some trap cats, set an initial report, and you don't hear anything more about it. There was a situation in Boris, I think it was, where a rank found the whole set of money in some car or something and returned it. to the lawful. Yes, those things are still there. The unfortunate thing is that it is not as frequent as it should be. But you have honest, hardworking police that we understand this clearly. But for anyone to do like the proverbial ostrich and say, "I only slow and Conway attacking for whatever reason," they're gonna remain with their heads buried in the sun and the posterior exposed. And when the posterior exposed, especially for a left-handed person or someone who weak down the leg side pass there, you're gonna be in serious, serious trouble. Mr. Conway?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I concur that there are many, many, many honest police officers at all levels, at all rank structure in the force. They are, but they are also more corrupt than the honest one. And we used to deal with corruption. I lock up a man who offered me bribe, and I go to court 36 times. The lawyer waiting for the day that I don't appear when you're going to ask the magistrate to dismiss. 36 occasions I went to court and I gave evidence. They want to frustrate me that I wouldn't think that. I say they are honest cops. Many of them in the Guyana police force.
Yeah, I remember that incident with you on the East Coast. I had the same experience in terms of giving corrupt people trouble, West Demerara, Georgetown,
Yeah,
all those places. I gave evidence in the matter against I set a trap for a policeman at West Demerara. He get catch. And he went to jail. He was given 3 months. When I
yeah,
was in Georgetown, same thing. People come make complaint, traps are set, and they get in trouble. So we
yeah,
were against this thing. So all of them um, trench crapo and jagabats and amphibians who come, check the records, man. Don't come and just they give you a talking piece. You come and you talk, and you talk a lot of crap, right? Check the records. We were there for a long time. I have one. I can disagree with you on one statement that you made, or a part of the statement that they have honest people at all levels. Remember, the levels of the police force is from commissioner right down to constable, and I don't agree with that level business, right?
yeah. All
I
right,
don't agree.
let me rephrase. As a
Yes,
senior,
please
let me
do,
just senior
please
officers.
do,
I agree.
please do. I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand what you mean. But just to make sure that the public understand what we are talking about, I don't
Yeah.
think they get that type of honesty at all.
Okay.
And the emphasis here in the word at all levels.
Okay.
So let me
All right.
understand it. If you want to say at most of the levels, yeah,
Yeah.
and I would agree with that. But now I don't agree with this our level
Okay.
business. Now, the next thing we want to talk about, we touched on it last week, and again, it's about corruption. Is a report about this $300 million fraud at the police quartermaster store. Not surprisingly to me, that you're hearing nothing about it. So they cooperate propaganda unit and them and making no issue about it. But you know that there's some credibility to the report because the people who they said were transferred were in fact transferred. The two officers were in fact transferred. And I made the statement last week that given how the financial system in the police force works, $300 million fraud can't be police alone. Cannot. Because the police force is not a self-accounting agency. And I had a discussion with a friend on Friday last, and he was telling me, well, police, no, let me say this. I said that the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs is the accounting officer for the police force. And he was telling me only for capital expenditure. And I tell him no, for both capital and current expenditure. And I have confirmed that because all the time, the permanent secretary was the accounting officer for capital expenditure. Capital expenditure, building of buildings, buying vehicles, them is big capital stuff, right? Current expenditure used to be the police finance officer or the man, when we had the man in charge of administration and stores, they used to be the current expenditure. Around 2004 or thereabout, that status was removed from the police. So the PS Ministry of Home Affairs is the accounting officer for both capital and current expenditure of the Ghana Police Force. So if you have a $300 million fraud, then the permanent secretary and the man in charge of admin, because admin comes under the quartermaster store, finance office, and those places come under the admin. There's a structure, the admin of the Ghana Police Force. They gotta be either complicit or negligent in this whole thing. They have to be $300 million, and you hear nothing. And I said last week, and I am repeating here now, and I want to prove me wrong, that the fact that those persons are accountable in some way, I believe this ain't going no place. This ain't going no place. Mr. Conway, your comments, please.
Well, there is the wall of silence. They're not admitting, neither they're not denying. And as you rightly said, the accounting officer is the PS. I can remember years ago, Mark Gilbert was a finance officer and he approved certain things and he ran into problem with the female there who was a PS, that she is the accounting officer and he didn't get approval to do anything. And the things, Larry Lewis used to say, that you are responsible for everything above your signature. Everything above your signature, you are responsible. You can't say it wasn't me. Or you can't say the man in the mirror is me. Or you can't be like Michael Jackson and say Billie Jean is not my girl and Jade is not my son. You are responsible for everything above your signature. And there must be checks and balances. And not only at Home Affairs, Ministry of Finance, what's going on there? Nobody ain't checking anything. And this is on a lighter note. Somebody just buzzed me something and say, like, you and Pastor get similar shorts, like you're all part of the 300 million fraud of the quartermaster store, like you all get the shorts from the quartermaster.
Trust the viewers. Trust our viewers to pick up something like that. No. This is not issue. It's not issue. It's a coincidence that we have. Well, when you put it on, unless they colorblind me, my shirt is much of a sober color. Yes, and hear this further. $300 million fraud at the police quartermaster store. This got to be over a period of time. I don't think it is a one check business.
No,
it got to be. And they're saying that the auditor general should, well, let's say you're reporting. That's what the reporter said. I'm not sure if they're reporting, because if you recall, in 2021, I think it was, the Minister of Home Affairs made a statement in Parliament. I just get my facts right, The Minister of Home Affairs in February of 2021 made a statement in the Guyana Parliament that $300 million was missing from the police finance office. $300 million missing. You hear nothing more about that. Some people, we charge with some conspiracies coming fraud involving $10 million. What happened to the 290 million they're talking about? Nothing. They make these statements to try to destroy careers. And I guess when they realize, again with the police finance office too, the accounting officer is the permanent secretary. So how you going to blame, in the case of the quartermaster store, the quartermaster is a thing now, a deputy superintendent or something, a deputy superintendent. Above the quartermaster in the chain, you have the man in charge of administration. Then you have the people at the police finance office. You have the people at the Ministry of Home Affairs account section. So how come only this deputy superintendent, this lowly deputy superintendent is transferred and some ASP is transferred? Something is wrong. And as I said, you're gonna hear much more about this. You're gonna hear much more about this because the accountant, I don't know if the accountant general gonna make a report on do a proper investigation and make a report. Do a proper investigation and let me hear what the story is. Because we money, it's taxpayers' money. It's taxpayers' money. And I understand that if they were to do a proper investigation, it's going to reach right up. It's going to reach right up because people have been complicit in this entire thing. People building big fancy house. The people houses that are being furnished. They make out thing ostensibly for going office and going into people's houses and all this everything. That is what is going on. I hope. And again, I say, quartermaster store, police finance office, construction section. I did not mention before, but the welfare, not the welfare come under police finance. The credit union, all come under the one man. And old people say, don't put cat for watch milk. If you put puss for watch milk, you're going to get what you're getting, See?
Paul, is not only the finance office. And let me talk a bit about the finance office before I jump into two regions. They were persons there, those senior persons, persons with experience, who could say, no, this voucher, we can't accept this voucher, we can't do this or that. They transfer them systematically. I made a check, and one time I found that it over a short period of time, they had 19 persons from that finance office were transferred out of the finance office. Persons with knowledge. Persons who would say, hey, turn back this voucher, this thing can't work. Persons say, hey, we can't buy money in this thing because the votes, it doesn't come under the votes overdraft. Persons, and then I hear instructions pass on. When you see my signature on a document, don't query nothing, don't ask any question. You just go along and do what you got to do. And I saw a letter going on the social media about Region 7. A lot of financial irregularities happening there. And Region 1, similar thing. Because what they're doing, they say that the police welfare fund boss, it run out of money. So the ranks who submitting accounts for work they do, they have to produce a bogus account. And the bogus account, they say it's not going to them. The bogus account going to the welfare department, the welfare fund. Whether or not it's going there is a different matter. So they're encouraging the juniors to prepare bogus accounts and sending them for approval, and they're being approved. And if they have a case in Borbis, we remember when the president announced an increase in salary and he itemized from assistant commissioner down to neighborhood police. There's a big issue in Borbis that they're not addressing, because Paul, you remember that in the neighborhood police, all neighborhood police are sworn as rural constables, so that they have the powers under Chapter 1601. So they have some problem with some neighborhood police and RCs, because some persons who are neighborhood police, they are recorded on the pay sheet as rural constables, and while others are recorded as neighborhood police. The neighborhood police getting more salary than the persons who are recorded as RCs. They are all neighborhood police, but some are recorded as RCs, while some are recorded as neighborhood police. So there's a big difference there in salary, a couple of $1,000s in there. And they have reported it to administration in Borbis, and administration said they can't do anything with it. We are all neighborhood police, but one getting more salary than none. Although I might join 10 years before you join a year after me, and you getting more money than me because you are recorded as neighborhood police and I am recorded as an RC, but we are all neighborhood police. And they're not trying to clear that up.
Well, perhaps again, incompetence, maybe even corruption. Who knows? And sad news just came to hand. Let me share it. Some late news here that death of some constable at the TSU, Rakesh, 23724 Rakesh of TSU, died on Monday and will be cremated tomorrow, Thursday. Again, there's something wrong. Too many deaths in the police force, too many deaths in the country, unnatural deaths in the country. I want to again express condolences to the relatives, friends, and the ranks of the TSU on the passing of a colleague. May his soul rest in peace. Now, the whole thing, police, deaths, and then problem of the police finance office, problem of the police quartermaster store, problem of the fire service, everything under the Home Affairs Ministry. These are departments under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And I said last week, or before the last, Minister Ben, you need to straighten up, bro. You're sour. Conchima say you're sour. And I ain't talking about literally. When Conchima say you're sour is because I mean that you get bad luck. Everything bad following you. Some people say they use your sour, your cross. You need to go into the ocean and take a bath with some salt water. Some people might suggest that if you go north, you walk north along Rabbit Walk. You know, Rabbit Walk is a little road between police headquarters and the commissioner's residence, where the military cemetery there. Walk north, you're going to come to the seawall, climb over the seawall, go into the water there, take a nice sea bath, and if you're of a mind, keep going north. You might get better conditions there. But something is wrong. Something is wrong with this department because even recently we see yesterday there was fire. The day before there was fire. Over the weekend, some fire in Agricola where a man dies. Something is wrong. The only surprising thing to me is that the ministry and the minister there come out with a statement talking about intellectual authors for this fire. Something is wrong, man. Somebody salt, somebody sour, somebody even stink. All sort of crosses going on. Yeah, somebody telling me, yeah, I saw that raw thanks. Some 7-month-old baby died at the daycare center yesterday on the East Coast. It's all manner thing. All manner thing. That's how that's the ways to need a bath with blue water. You need a bath in blue. You might need more than that, man. You need more than maybe you need to take a trip to Suriname. Gotta get some air, they got strong over there. You need to take a trip to Suriname. But you know, again, so it's a sour by the hour. Chen Sing say sour by the hour. Something is wrong, though. Something is wrong, man. Something is wrong. And to me, you know, on a serious note, the worrying thing, I am not hearing statements that look, these groups and that group are meeting and there's some session to plan how they're going to address these things, these fires, these fatal accidents. Police corporate communication up to now can't come up with no proper public announcement to tell people how they must drive. They're telling you about food, they're cooking food, and they're carrying to this place. They tell you they meet with all sort of propaganda. All sort of propaganda. But the real thing, they are not addressing. And again, some of these things that you're not reinventing the wheel. Some of the policies are there in other jurisdictions. For example, talk about infomercials with social media and so on. Give information as to what the way people just drive and think. The airwave should be full social media. All of these things they should be done. I'm sure they could pay a little money and get the thing done. They can get this thing done if they don't have the resources within the force. Get it done. We had another issue to discuss today. So you see what time around again, where we were to talk about these many cases that are being dismissed. Only over the past couple of days, we saw the second accused in the American Street money changer murder. The man walked free, and there is another one. There are several others. So maybe next week we have to make a concerted effort to address that. But as we say, so many things come up in the week that we address, and then almost 2 hours since we are here, almost 2 hours. CC, your closing remarks.
Yeah, Paul. And instead of they looking at the core functions, they don't know that kind of thing. They're storing pot for the president on Christmas Eve Day. They say they're cooking and eating healthy, and they're steaming fried fish. They're bowling ball for the president score runs.
Man, don't make
And they
joke,
bowling,
man. Hold on, man. Hold on. Don't make joke, man. They're steaming fried fish.
yeah, a man said this was in the press. A man, I saw it. Man say cooking healthy, eating healthy, eating peas and rice. You see, cooking peas and rice and steamed fish, and you fry the fish and then go and steam it, Paul. And the bowling ball for the president bat for
I see the
score runs.
time pots too. I see the time pots and they put our pot upside down. I saw that one.
And the bowling long up and the bowling full toss and have volleys and everything though. But let me leave this one with them. This is about for them to ponder on. This is it's called whole brain research. Over 2,500 years ago, Hippocrates stunned the world when he said that emotions come from the head and not the heart. And then Dr. Roger Sperry He won a Nobel Prize for doing brain research in 1981. He said the left and right side of the brain each have their own thoughts and memory, and they process information differently. He said the left brain thinking process language and is primarily logical, and the right side thinking process images and is primarily emotional. They are joined by the corpus callosum, and they interchange at least 10 times every 24 hours. He said also that the right brain, the right side deals intuitively, holistically, and emotionally, and the left side uses reason, and the right side is also creative and imaginative. But the things he's saying that it is not which side of the brain that you're using, is that in terms of problem solving and decision making, you must use the whole brain. We used to hear about dunderheads, numbskull, slatehead, steelhead, hardhead, and all sort of things. So the thing is that in terms of decision making and problem solving, we should use our whole brain, not one side of the brain. But then I might end up in some worries because when I left it, if I go and hug up my wife and I tell she, baby, I love you with all my brains and not my heart, I might end up in problems.
Yes, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. We can talk. Um, folks, before I close today, I need to tell you today being the 22nd of March 2023. On the 24th, that is on Friday, we expect the judge to undo the decision in the suspension of the Police Service Commission. Remember, the Police Service Commission was suspended by the president on June the 21st, 2022, 2021, sorry. I was the chairman, Mr. Connie was a member, and all members were suspended on that day. And following long legal argument and battles in court, interlocutory motion and all, arguments were made sometime in January, I think it was, and the judge indicated that on the 24th of March, that's Friday coming, I think it's 1:15 in the afternoon, a decision will be handed down. Now, I don't know what the decision will be. I know what the Constitution says, the letter there. I was in court on every occasion. I hear the arguments and all of that. But I'm saying that there are a lot of things that I wanted to say, but I could not say because the matter is before the court, and as I say, the matter is sub judice. But I can tell you that once the decision is handed down one way or the other, there are lots of things to be revealed. Lots of things to be revealed. And I will consult with my attorney, and I am tempted, I am inclined to do a special program sometime Friday afternoon. What's that decision? Remember, I don't know what the decision is, but whatever the decision is, whether it's favorable to me or not, I believe that there are things that should be revealed, the public should know. And therefore, I'm considering, once I run it by my attorney, I am considering whether to have a live program sometime Friday afternoon to bring to your attention some of the issues that came out during this long process. Some of you are going to be shocked. Some of you are going to be shocked with the revelations. And when I make the revelations, I'm going to present you with the evidence so that you can be the judge. I'm going to reveal these things and present you with the evidence. So Friday, look out for the notification, because once my lawyer tells me to go ahead, and the lawyer in this matter, after we have Mr. Selwyn Peters from Canada, Mr. Dexter Todd, and Mr. Dexter Smart, they operate out of Guyana. And once they advise me to go ahead, I will so do. So listen out for Friday. Most likely, it's going to be sometime around 6 p.m. on Friday. Most likely. Once I get the all clear, 6 p.m. In the meanwhile, I'm pulling together the evidence to present to you. As I've said, I couldn't do it all the time because the matter is before the court. And you know, they get this rule, sub judicial rule, once the matter is before the court, you shouldn't really comment on the facts and the issues in question. So I did not do that. So I'm waiting anxiously for the decision, one way or the other. One way, whether the judge ruled that the commission was lawfully suspended, whether the jury was unlawfully. I think the public should know some of the issues that were discussed during that matter. So look out for Friday afternoon. I'm doing my research. I'm putting up all the documents. The slides are going to be there. Statements are going to be there for you to see once the lawyers say, go ahead and do it. Because again, in this age of social media, you can't wait on them to push their narrative. You have to make sure that the truth is there. Because many of them will come with all kind of propaganda. They're going to spin. They are good spin doctors. I am no spin doctor. I am putting the facts and let sure that you can be the judge. I'm going to put the facts out there. I'm going to run the issues by you to tell you all that transpired in the whole thing leading up to the decision on Friday. I'm going to let you, the public, know. You, our viewers, know. So spread the word. Stand by. Remember, it's not confirmed as yet, but stand by. Stand by. And that is why I'm encouraging you to go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence, so that once we get the all clear and the program is scheduled, you will get the notification that we're going to go live at a particular time. That is why you're encouraged to go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, which is normally the bottom right-hand corner, and you will get the notification. You will get the notification when the program goes live. Somebody's telling us breaking news reports of a shooting in Rizrock between the police and a civilian. The civilian is currently in hospital, Linden Hospital Compton, more than a subsequent report. That's somebody just putting this up here for those who, every day is some issue. Every day is an issue. So yes, look out for Friday. Go to YouTube now. Those of you who have not done so, go to YouTube, subscribe. You can also go to Facebook and like this page, Speaking Out page, like it, and you will get the notification when we go live on Friday and all other times when we go live. So make sure you do that. And let me leave by telling you again, COVID is still around. So don't let down your guard. COVID is still around. Take all the precautions to make sure that you, your family, friends, and everyone is safe. Take all precaution. Thanks to those comments, Barbara. I was saying educational program. Yeah, we will continue to do that. And let me close by playing you we close by giving you the music. So let me find it and tell you. Somebody sent something there again, but I don't think we can deal with all of that now. We can deal with it at some other time. So for now, folks, until we meet again, either Friday or next Wednesday, bye.